Welcome in, Cowboys Nation, the Cowboy Game Day Live, the post-game show presented by Texas Card House. Stick around for our final thoughts. The River, we got some things to say, man. The Cowboys lose again, 21-27. They go down in A-Town. Yeah, I mean, it looked just like it's always looked this year, Jesse, but now you're going to add on some terrible news. More terrible news on the injury front. It's really hard not to start this thing off talking about what happened, I believe, in the fourth quarter, maybe, or end of the third quarter, with both of their top guys on offense, and Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. Dak injuring his hand and his hammy, and then CeeDee Lamb playing through his shoulder as much as he can, but that looked like that was out there. It looked like he was in excruciating pain. So not only do they lose those two guys potentially for maybe a few weeks or at least next game.
Yeah, I mean, from the quarterback position, you don't have a quarterback. Pretty much, you don't have really much a chance in a lot of football games, right? Like, I forget what coach said it. When they talked about, how do you prepare for not having Peyton Manning? And he was like, we're effed. We don't prepare for that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I think it might have been Tom Moore. It might have been his offensive coordinator who said that.
Yeah, okay. They're like, we're screwed because we don't prepare for not having Peyton Manning in the lineup. And for the Cowboys, not having Dak Prescott, the guy that we consistently say, if the Cowboys have any chance of winning, any hope of winning, anywhere near a resemblance of competing, it would have to be on the arm of Dak Prescott, right? He had to be Superman every single game. And so not having him is the ultimate deflator for you as a football team. And then CeeDee Lamb, just first and foremost with that is just you saw the toughness, right? Like you can say
you gotta give him some credit
CeeDee
on that.
Lamb, and rightfully so. When you say about he complains sometimes, and sometimes it can be a diva, but you just saw on full display. This is easily could have tapped out and said, "Nah, I'm good, bro. Like this, whatever my shoulder is, whether it's the AC or rotator cuff or whatever it is, it's visibly hurting him, and it's probably one of those things where it's the nerves in the shoulder shoot all the way down the arm to your fingertips, and no one would have blamed him for tapping out and saying, I can't go, my shoulder. But you saw the resiliency of him coming back into the game, pushing through the pain and the injury, and still trying to be out there for his teammates. So, kudos to CD for that. But man, it sucks. It sucks because it just seemed like every time you think you're going to turn a corner, maybe get some guys back healthy, you lose some more guys. And
yeah,
it's
one of those seasons, man. It's one of those seasons where anything that can go wrong is going wrong.
Yeah. And,
try to bring it back to the field. I come away from this and I don't know how many times we say this over the years, just a poorly run, undisciplined team. You can't come out 4th and 1, 12 men on the field. You can't have 5 pre-snap penalties. You can't before you even touch the ball. Once again, Jesse, I mean, I feel like this is the 3rd, 4th, or 5th time before the offense even touches the ball, there's a penalty on special teams. Whether it's a holding, negating a 46 return that will put you at the 46, whether it's a illegal formation that backs you up or a holding that brings back a return or what have you and starts you off inside the 20. It's just a undisciplined team after undisciplined game after undisciplined game, and it's just hard to come away from that and not say, what do you have to do here? You know what I'm saying? Like, I said this before, somebody's head would have to roll if a lot of things, but if you get sacks or pressures or whatever from this team, this Falcons defense is just not a good. Even though they played good this game, it still didn't. I didn't come away like, man, this is a good defense. You couldn't execute. You couldn't stay disciplined. You were behind the chain. You ran the ball well, you ran the ball well, but then it's like you forgot that you were actually running the ball well, and it just was another frustrating game. I'm not even sitting here going to get emotional about it. It's just frustrating and disappointing to see this happen week after week.
The penalties,
Nine.
That is
9 of them.
That is one of those things where I always put penalties back on coaching, right? Like I put that back on coaching, man. Like, and I know the players are committing them, but this is an undisciplined football thing.
Yeah.
This is incredibly, incredibly, incredibly undisciplined football team, and not just the penalties. You know, the thought that came to my mind was the Jake Ferguson screenplay, where
Details.
if you just do what you're supposed to do and get a solid block on him, you get a touchdown. Right? It's all the little things that you see throughout this game. You know, guys running into each other, you know, the penalties, guys not blocking the right assignments, and so on and so forth. Like, the discipline of this football team is so poor. And when you're not supremely talented and you aren't clean in what you do, you gotta have discipline.
Yeah, you gotta be clean.
You gotta have guys that know where to go, line up, do it right. Don't give and it's the pre-snap ones that really kill you, because you're like, bro, you didn't even give us a chance. Like, you didn't even give us a chance because you jumped offside, because we're a professional football team and we're still lining up 12 guys in the huddle. And I swear, and maybe because I just cover the Cowboys, I don't cover the rest of the league, I feel like that penalty for us has been something that, even back to the Jason Garrett days, it's like, how do we keep getting these 12 men in the huddle calls? Like, they scream out the personnel, they scream out who they want out there, and we still get a 12-man in the huddle penalty at the most unopportune time that we could have it. Like, the most was 4th and inches, guys. Like, it's 4th and inches. This is the one place where we can't have a 12 guys in the huddle penalty. And the Cowboys get one, back them up. And it's just, it's repetitive, right? You're talking about, you know, Zeke being habitually late. It's the habitual penalties. It's the habitual undisciplined. It's over and over and over and over. And it's just, again, it is a direct representation of who this football team is as a whole. There, you know, the theme this year was rooted, right? They're rooted in undiscipline.
They're rooted in a lot of things.
They're rooted in inconsistency. They're rooted in pre-snap. Like, they're rooted in a bunch of bull. Over and over and over, you see, and this team, you know, they can't get out of their own way.
Yep. 9 penalties, 7 of them, if I'm not, and this number could be checked, but 7 of them came from 5 pre-snap, right? And then 2 special teams. That screams undisciplined. And then you break it down to the details. That's discipline as well. That's not the first time that Jake has done that on the screen. It's not. He kind of just half-heartedly touches them and get that can't happen. Lunda Wells has to see that on film, or whomever it is, Mike, somebody, and say, hey, we need you to 1-2 release, right? There's a play that Greg Olsen talked about. I think, I don't know if it wasn't a scramble. It was actually, I thought it was
the Rico screen. The Rico screen. When he didn't let Zach Martin set the block up,
Zach,
he went too fast.
That's another one there where Zach, I don't know if there was a miscommunication.
Zach missed the block. Whatever it was. Yes.
Either Zach missed the block or Rico went out too wide. But there was another one where they ran because I've been screaming for more deeper drop backs or rollouts and let things get down the field. They did a play action. Dak rolls out, kind of just drops back deep. And he talks about Brevin Spann-Ford not stopping. A veteran
in the zone
tight end stops, and he's wide open. And he just keeps flowing into the coverage, and there's nobody else open, obviously. And now Dak has to just kind of hope and get it to Tolbert. He did. He dropped it. But it's those small things. They happen to add up. 3rd and 1, right? I don't like being in shotgun right there and running some basic play, but Tyler Smith doesn't pin down on his guy, and he allows Grady Jarrett to get in, and you get the tackle for loss. What happens the next play? You don't convert on 4th down. These little tiny things, continue to add up, and it's week after week. Last week, you come out and admit we had communication issues to start the game after a bye week. I don't know how he can continue to survive this, but now, Jesse, with Lamb potentially maybe misses some time, Dak potentially maybe misses some time, maybe Jerry says, well, no need to fire him. Let's just keep rolling it out there. But dude, this team looks. I said this weeks ago. I thought this team gave up, or I should say gave up. Let me not use that term. I thought McCarthy lost this locker room a long time ago because there's nothing he can say when the guy above him is overriding certain decisions. And that was before Zeke even came. The Zeke thing, came out. Now, is it more than that? How is Donovan Wilson still out there in a coverage situation like that? How is, you know what I mean? How are we not continuing to get the ball to Rico Dowdle? How are we still having these? It's just a mess. That's all I can really say about this organization right now. It's a complete mess from top to bottom.
No, you're absolutely right, man. And just it's a constant ego battle between who calls the shots and who gets a chance to coach the shots. And guys know that. Guys see that. And we had this conversation maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago about that that locker room being lost from Mike McCarthy, and this doesn't help it. This doesn't help his cause. All the coaches, everyone's now kind of doing their own thing to save themselves. I said earlier in this week.
We didn't even talk about the fake punt. Jeez.
Oh my God! What a horrible call. Like if that's the case, leave your offense out there.
Unbelievable, man.
Like it's just but earlier this week, you heard Brian Schottenheimer. He's like, about the motions and the bunch formation and all that kind of thing. Like, there's the things that I like to do. Like, I want to incorporate those things. It's like, to me, that's him saying, hey, for my future job, interviews, for those who are looking for OC going forward, I want to let y'all know this ain't on me.
I've been saying
this
that.
Ain't me. I want to do that. I want to have motion and I want to do formations and I want to do those things. That ain't me, y'all. So when I come looking for a job in a couple months, don't put this on me.
Yeah, don't go look at the staff and say who's offensive coordinator for the 2024 Cowboys. Yeah. Oh man, that's a Schottenheimer offense. Nah, that's not Schotty out there, man. It does feel like, and I wonder if Fossil went rogue, because remember when he first got here, he had an issue with going rogue. I don't know if you remember that, Jesse. He would just randomly, he did so many trick plays in his first year. And Mike, I think he yelled at him one time. Was that Fossil saying, I'll be damned. She ain't gonna blame this on me. And he tries to make a big play. So is everybody pressing out there now, just trying to do their own damn thing? It's a jumbled mess. And I don't know what message message can you go in there, as a coach and deliver? I don't know what, and they take it in and like, yeah, we got this. We're good next week.
The only message that you can deliver is the pride message. That's it. Like you can go in there and say, listen, fellas, we got to have pride. Because if not, this thing is going to snowball. That's you have to put it back on them. Like you have to, they have to want to play for themselves, because you've now lost the ability for them to play for you. Like, we talked about it before. By nature, football players will run to the wall, but for the right coach, they'll run through the wall. They're not running through the wall for this guy anymore. So if you're going to get them to play any way, shape, or form better against the Philadelphia Eagles, it has to be a pride thing. You have to make them believe, like, if not, Philadelphia's going to embarrass you, not me. They're going to embarrass y'all.
And there's a guy over there who left in an unhappy way. If you don't think that he's got some things up his sleeve to try to embarrass you in the same way that the Detroit Lions did, you'd be mistaken. And if it is Cooper Rush going to Philly, the last time Cooper Rush went to Philly as a starter, he threw 3 interceptions in that game, and it was an embarrassment, right? So now you got a worse offensive line, worse cast of players, maybe no CD Lamb, and an offensive coordinator on their side of the ball that might look at Nick Sirianni and say, hey, I got it. I got you this one. This my game. This my game. Okay. I know you want to stick your head in the cookie jar and do your things. I got you, bruh. Let me do me. I promise you, I know exactly how to attack these dudes over there, and I know exactly what McCarthy's going to do. So if you need me over there, what's the defensive coordinator? Vic. If you need me, Vic, I got you. Vic gonna say, motherfucker, for what? I done got the blueprint to Mike McCarthy. What I need you for, Playboy? What are you talking about? So Philly looking at this like, hey, I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care about your injuries, fam. This is a division game that we got to have. And if the Cowboys have any shot next week, they're going to have to play literally out of their bodies. It's going to have to be an out-of-body experience.
Like, I know that we have to be objective and we have to kind of build this thing up throughout the week. But
this is objective. They only win if they play like they're from a different planet. That's it. Come on.
I
about to try to put 50 on your head, just like Ben Johnson did.
Yeah. Like it is, and I haven't watched an ounce of Philadelphia film.
There's no need. I mean, we will because that's our job, right? But come on, man. I don't know if I've seen a team. I haven't watched every team, but the Cowboys literally have been the same exact team, really, from week 2 to now. Yeah. Start bad in first quarter, start bad in third quarter. Scream back in the fourth quarter, fall short. It's been the same, and except for in Pittsburgh. They are fourth down play away from the same exact script for 5 consecutive games. It's unbelievable, bro.
And so, I mean, so when you say that, like, not that we have to place blame on somebody or put blame on somebody, but where does it go? Where does it go when you have, because I think about this week of practice, right? And one of the practices, I think it was Thursday, they did a longer practice because they just couldn't get it.
That's
like we're crazy. In week 8 and they couldn't get the concept of what they were doing. And like, not that I want to place blame, but blame needs to be placed somewhere. Is who? Is it the coaches? Is it the players? Because we're at the basics. There's no more. We
basics
can't go
is
lower.
Over. Yeah. I mean, I think there's a shared piece of the pie. It's not one singular thing, right? I think from top to bottom, I think this started before the season even happened because you didn't replenish your roster. So we can go there, but that's before the season. Then during the season, you clearly did not add to some of the things you were doing offensively, at least. Defensively, you started to lose guys, right? You just lost your best players back to back to back, it felt like, and even before you did lose them, it wasn't good out there either. So there was a lot of discipline issues as well. So you can obviously say, well, when a unit or a team is consecutively inconsistent, like it's consistently inconsistent, I have to look at, well, this is a poorly coached team. So now let's go down and look at the players. They're poorly coached. I bet you now can't, what we talk about, right, compound the situation. Not only are they poorly coached, they're a poor talent team too, right? Like you lost a lot. I mean, when you really think of Micah and D-Law and Sam and Nealon and Cooks, and you lost a lot of talent, and now you have to lean on the couple guys you have offensively, and teams know that. You're not creative enough, go back to coaching, to be able to get other guys involved or overcome it, right? So it's just a cluster F of a lot of things. And I don't think a coaching change is going to change anything at this point, but I believe a message has to be sent some way, shape, or form, man.
I'm with you. I'm with you. And maybe Philly is the game. Maybe tonight was enough, but there's no way that you can watch this football team from. And again, I don't have to cut the $5 million check, right? Oh, I don't have to cut what's left of that $5 million check if we send him packing today. But if I don't know, man, like it's. I guess if you try to sell the rest of the season, the second half of the season, if you're trying to sell that to the fan base or to the TV networks or whatever it is, because you know how I feel. Let's flex us, baby.
Please.
Flex us.
We got 4 primetime games. Please get them things up out of here.
Look, Flex us at 12 noon. You won't get an ounce of argument from me.
None.
But if you're trying to sell those, the only way I think you can kind of get that, because the storylines will be big enough, is to fire your coach. And ultimately, like it's happening regardless. Like whether it happens now,
whether it's in November or it's in January, it's happening.
It's happening.
Yeah.
So this is bad, man. Like it's
a bad football team. It's a really bad football team. It's been a bad football team for most of the season, really. And you're just looking for a spark to turn it around, because we've seen that happen before. You know, we've seen teams that had some talent. The Cowboys don't have as much talent as some of these other teams. They get on a run, or there's something, a game or something that turning point. I think there are no more turns. So there's no more turning points. They're just at a straight line to the finish line of a poor season, it looks like here. So.
And I think when it comes to from a Jerry Jones perspective, I truly believe, like in the offseason when he went to the whole all-in situation, like that was Jerry giving you lip service. I think Jerry had a plan that we were going to do some things as far as resetting the cap and getting some contract done, because you look at the way this team is structured, right? There's like 33 players on this team who are coming to the end of these, have one more year left on their deal that end this particular year. And I thought Jerry was looking at that, and he had this plan of, I want us to be competitive enough to continue to sell tickets. I think this thing has spiraled out of control, and now whatever plan he thought he had, it got him. Because this thing has gone epically bad. Like it gets worse every single week. And if next week you don't have your starting quarterback and your starting receiver, it's gonna get epically bad then. And then if you fire your head coach this week, it's an epically bad week, because now you have to answer all those questions. Or if you do it after the Philadelphia game, that is going to come, and you're going to run into a situation where you may be looking up and it's 5 games that you lost in a row, 6 games that you've lost in a row.
That's very, very possible. We're at 3 now.
Very possible.
3, and you got Houston, Philly, Washington. Well, I think the Giants, but the Giants, I believe, are last in that. You can definitely not just lose. You can probably get whooped by these teams. Yeah. Now Houston has not played well either. But every time we go, hey, this team doesn't play well, it doesn't matter, because the Cowboys aren't a good football team, right? So yeah, Houston is having their struggles, but who's to say you're not their get right game? We talked about the Falcons pass rush and back-to-back sacks. They haven't done that all year, except week 1 or some weird stat like that. Oh, by the way, I gotta say it, because I feel like I swear I promise you, every year, multiple times a year, it's something hasn't happened since some 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. The Cowboys are the first team, or since 2000, the most since 2000, to have 4 downs? Meaning you turnover on downs. 4 turnover on downs in a game. The first time in 24 years. It's comically bad, man. And it's every year there's something like this.
Yeah.
All right, man. We kind of gave a lot here, but we still got to get to our final thoughts here, brought to you by the River, which is our final thoughts, brought to you by Texas Car House. Texas Car House offers a unique blend of luxury, sophistication, and camaraderie, making them the premier destination for poker aficionados in the area. Whether you're a seasoned pro or you're just starting out, you'll find a welcoming community and top-notch facilities at TCH. And that is true. I will be there live in a couple weeks at their Las Colinas location, man. It is upscale, brother. It is really upscale, really nice in there. Enjoy being there. But the River, if you're not sure what that is, there are 5 streets. The River is the last street, the last card. So our final thoughts as we depart the show, Jesse Alley.
This football team is incredibly bad. And there is nothing that they have on their roster. And I know the trade deadline is coming up in 2 days. Mm-hmm. There isn't enough out there. They don't have enough collateral to make the necessary changes that it would even remotely put this team
right
in a place of contention. Your offensive line is horrible. Your run game is mid. Your defense is absolutely Swiss cheese. And I mean, Kalen Carson, you've been itching to get back and playing, and
Marvin Overshown's the only one defensively that gives you excitement. Yeah,
he's the only one, and it truly does suck to watch this football team play as poorly as it is. And there was nothing. There was nothing. At no point in time in this game that I feel like the Atlanta was in danger of losing this game.
How many times have I heard you say that this year? A lot.
Like at no point in time I was like, oh yeah, well, Atlanta's gonna lose this game. At no point in time. And this is going to be the feeling for the rest of the season, I'm afraid. Of hopelessness, of despair, of scratching our heads, of some may be frustration. But the truth of the matter is, this football team was badly built by Jerry Jones. It is being poorly coached by Mike Zimmer and Mike McCarthy. And the leaders on this football team have been a poor job of their play on the field and their leadership off the field. Feel how you want to feel. For those guys who are supposed to be leading this bunch, you've done a horrible job from top to bottom. It shows. And it is absolutely a representation of what this franchise has been for the last 28, 29 years. It's been an absolute joke.
I couldn't have said that any better. I'm probably going to lead with this tomorrow too. Poorly built, poorly coached, and poorly played. You cannot have all three of those things. And for years, I've said that you have to overcome one of those things above you. I've always believed you had a poor ran front office and the coach have to overcome that. I've often thought you had poor coaching and the players have to overcome that. Now you have poor playing as well to going with it. Now that happens from time to time throughout seasons, but it's happening consistently every game now. And it's all coming to a head. Poorly built, poorly coached, and poorly played. Well said, Jesse Holley. That's our final thoughts. The River, brought to you by Texas Car House, ladies and gentlemen. We will try our best to cover this team for 5 days a week once again for the next, I don't know how many weeks they got here. Next 9 games. It's going to be rough. I know, jokingly, I dropped the draft chime, right? Turn the page to the draft season. Right. It's you got to start thinking about it, I think, at this point. Now it's a matter of time, a matter of who's going to be doing the picking and who's going to be here and things like that. But we're still going to push through and cover the team as best we can during a year that feels very eerily similar to 2020. Terrible defense, terrible offense, injuries galore. The difference is it's not your first year for a head coach. The difference is this guy been here for 5 years and it's looking this bad, Jesse. So you've got how many shows and where can they find you this week?
Oh, man, you can find me all over Monday through Friday. You can find me at 11 a.m. Central Time, DLLS on YouTube. You can find me on Hanging with the Boys 5 days a week at 1 p.m. Central Time on the Cowboys Network, DallasCowboys.com. You can also find me at Unfiltered with Jesse Holley, dropping on Tuesdays.
Boy, everywhere. Bang.
And Fridays. And you can also find me on the Believe in the Cowboys of the Believe Network. I'm outside.
Change that to don't believe in the Cowboys.
Yeah, don't have much belief left in the Cowboys. Yeah, don't believe.
Nah, man. Y'all know where to find me, man. Monday through Friday, starting tomorrow. We will be back. We will be getting, obviously a lot of the fans, thoughts on everything. Obviously, I'll give you my thoughts as well. But we'll be here Monday through Friday, 8:30-ish. I'll be in the building. Come through. It don't matter. I'm here. Come through. Get this good stuff, man. Appreciate you guys, man. For Jesse Holley, Skywalker still.